Inaya Oakroot. Wow, what an energy. What a fascinating woman. The energy and the light from her. She's a oh my goodness, where do I begin? She has a spiritual academy. She is a healer and spiritual guide. She's from Sweden. She's a Swedish citizen, and she used to be a tennis coach, and she became an artist. She had some tragedy where she had to separate from her husband. Here in the States, we call it witness protection, but there in Sweden, they call it hidden address. And so her and her 2-year-old daughter at the time had to leave, go to another city. All their names were changed, and terrible situation for 10 years. So through that, a lot of her art came out. And now she just helps people with spiritual healing. She managed a refugee camp for 4 years. Fascinating story there. But some of the art that she took on and what shaped her into what she does now. I opened the conversation with the sound ah. And what does it mean? And the sound E, how does that help? And lastly, the sound O and how that helps. Fascinating discussion with Inaya. Just such great spirit and light. Thanks for listening. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz. People ask me, how did I lose 130 pounds? The quick answer is always discipline. I started my business, wasn't paying attention to my health, was eating too much, drinking too much sweets. My daughter was born. Next thing I know, I'm pre-diabetic. I have hypertension. I knew something had to change. Discipline. I, like many of you, have faced many challenges in your career, in your family, in your life, in your faith. How did you attack them? How did you approach them? How did you solve them, hopefully? It all had to have some degree of discipline. I'm also asked, how did you found and start a tech business that lasted over 25 years? Discipline. I was committed to it, enjoyed technology, didn't enjoy some aspects of it, but knew it was necessary. Discipline. Our podcast mission, how do we use discipline to better ourselves and society? Join me, please, as I talk to interesting people and discuss how they use discipline in their family, in their passion, in their careers, and how it helped them. Our podcast vision, growth through learning from others. Joey Pinz Disciple Conversations. It'll be light and serious. Join us, please. Thank you for consideration. Inaya Oakroot, I'm so excited to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time today. What does the sound ah do for us?
Wow, what a start! It's the tune A. It's the tune of the heart, and when we sound it eternal, if we start to breathe from our stomach and really take in earth energy, the R tune will go through our body and be overtuned to connect us to source directly. And it's like our breath stop to be ours. I can stay in the tune for 4 minutes, I think, about,
Wow.
because it's just like a wind going through me.
And you're breathing through your nose while you're doing this.
I don't breathe. I breathe in from my nose. When I take in earth, it's like I ground myself with my hands on the earth and put me on my stomach, and then in the breath out, it's a tune just going through like a through the body.
Wow.
Yeah,
Whereas the E is more the brain.
yeah, it is. And ooh is it's a lowest one. Uh, it's a one can see it also as hertz uh, hertz number of different frequencies, and then the lowest chakra has 396 hertz,
Hmm.
and the heart has 639, and the crown has 963, and it means it's all 369, so it's all Tesla energy, so it's
Hmm.
going like a running water through us.
And
It,
how did you come upon this? How did you
oh,
uh,
I was taught it by Gita Ben David. Yeah.
and when you learned it, how did it change your life?
Well, I've gone through so much also before it. So it's just, coming home.
Mm,
So it's a refreshment, and it's a practice to do, and it's so simple. Everyone can do it. Even
hmm.
if you are, can't stand up, you can sit and do it, and everyone can really make this fluid energy and connection to source where they are.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Such a simple exercise, and it could be so kind of connecting. So
yeah,
you started as a tennis coach into an artist, and then you had some trauma there where 10 years you had to have a hidden address is a terrible kind of um, upbringing with your I think your daughter was 2 years old at the time, and this
yeah,
kind of led you to your path where you are now.
yeah, yeah. I think we choose our lives, and I really am so grateful for. It's like I Joshua once said to me when I was in channeling, he said, "Okay, you have to learn all people suffer to understand and have compassion to others, and to be creative enough to see that everything is anyway divine, and you will pass it all." So it's
Hmm.
like anchoring the trust.
Did you have this same attitude and philosophy when you were coaching tennis?
Yeah, everywhere.
You did.
Yeah, I'm born metaphysic person. So when I enter any field, it's like in the start I don't understand anything until I get the eureka, and then all it's getting into place. Also, the tennis coach, it's like in the same time when you just seeing a person being in the court and strike anything, how they move and everything. It's like I know exactly what what personality they are, and the possibilities for them to come into their own way of personal growth
Huh.
together with the tennis.
You can tell by the way they hit the ball and swing and handle themselves on the court how they are in life.
Yeah,
Fascinating.
I think I think everyone can when they are, when I have been a tennis coach for 30 years. So everyone who goes specific into one field, they start to get the essence of the field.
Hmm.
Doesn't matter what field it is, but tennis is a very good one.
What does it tell you if they use a one-hand backhand or two-hand backhand?
If I do,
No, if you see them, what does that tell you about
yeah.
them?
Well, that is most. It's most of how they were taught, or who they wanted to look like, or
Mm,
things like that. So it's not so much it's the way they move it. So it's,
I see.
if they have one hand backhand or two hand strike, it doesn't uh, well, it can be some same personality. I myself have both of them. I
Mm,
do different different times because I have been a coach. I have to learn everything, yeah, every
right.
strike, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, tennis is a wonderful sport, but it's interesting how you can, see that. So you made the migration to being an artist, and, one particular I heard you talk about one particular you were kinda outside asking what people art is, and you were on display. Can you talk about this? I think you were in a department store, was it? I don't know if I got the story right, but you were displaying one particular art where you were the actual subject.
Oh, you saw that one. Yeah, I think you mean a one that I was in a supermarket.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
That's
okay. Actually, it was in my start of hidden address, and
mm,
when I came to be in that place, it's like, you can't move exactly everywhere that you where you want to move and everything. So it was like I don't know. It's the one who makes the opposite. It's totally me. So at that time, I was having a hidden address, and and everything, and I got a work for the art museum in the new town. I had another name than my own. Everything was covered,
Mm.
and then I didn't know how to market them, but I see that they wanted people, normal people, to come to the art museum, and not only these women above 60.
Mm.
so
Mm.
so I think the average place is really the food place. So I was actually sewing my clothes as from washing uh, things that you need to clean and wash, and made a dress of it, and lied on a sofa, and there were standing two big texts about what is art, experience yourself in the art museum, and then there were a screen, like a TV screen over, with the same picture of me lying down there, and then it was a golden frame with the same item, and I was just lying there for 8 hours. But it was the most interesting of being. Of course, I had, when I got the idea, I say, "This is stupid. You have hidden address. You shouldn't do this." And then I just wrote, okay, what is it that I am afraid of? So I wrote down different things, and I said, okay, that is just my ego. That is just my ego. And then were two things left. I could be killed,
Mm.
and they should not announce that I will be there before.
Right.
Yeah. So I had two bodyguards being there, and then the director of the museum came in. I have been there for, I don't know, maybe an hour or something. And when you lie in one still position, it starts to hurt a little bit.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. So I was just concentrating on, and made my muscles so relaxed. So I was like, didn't feel my body. And then he came in and he said to the body, "Wow, do you see? She's flying in the air." And then I heard it, and he said, "Oh no, I saw wrong." So anyway, I was there 8 hours, and when you are an object, it's really the best position to study people.
Mm.
As people were talking, and what they are doing there around, it's such a investigation place to
Hmm.
lie down there and hear people, and oh, so many stories.
Would people ask you questions?
No, they didn't. One thing was very funny. There were two ladies. I don't know their age, because I just opened my eyes like that.
Uh,
Didn't see. But one of them had a kid like 2 3 years old in this shopping van,
yes.
and they were standing over the signs, didn't see anything, and the little kid wanted to he was like, oh, on me, like
Poking you.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the ladies, they were only still chatting, didn't see anything. And after a while, when they wanted the kid to get quiet, they said, "Oh, do you want that doll?"
You want that doll. They thought you were a doll.
Yeah, because they were totally, I don't know, their sensory system maybe
Mm.
have died somewhere. I don't know.
Now, I don't want to gloss over the fact that when you say hidden address, you had to run from your ex-husband. You were afraid of
Yeah,
you and your daughter being in danger.
yeah,
So
yeah.
does the country of Sweden get involved and give you a different name and address? When you say,
Yeah. All my name and everything is, and it was between. There were not so much computers, but there were computers, because it
yes.
was between 93 and 2003. So anyway, I was in no records anywhere.
Wow.
So I couldn't get you know a normal bank account, anything. So I had to be under uh, and it's also interesting to not be in any system. I was totally out of any system.
Wow.
Yeah.
The government got involved completely, though. It was with the
Yeah,
government
yeah, yeah,
involved.
totally.
Yeah.
And of course, my daughter was later during this time in school, so we had an other other name when I worked, because I started work in this new town as an artist as well. And even though I didn't have my name, they recognized me because I was kind of well known in
Hmm.
yeah.
And did your
the-
daughter have to change her name too?
Yeah, yeah, by the time, yes, both of us.
Wow.
Yeah.
So in the States, we have witness protection, but I didn't think it was for, for spouses. I thought it was for more of, crime and organized crime, etc. And you had to kind of get out. That's very interesting how
Ah,
the state gets involved.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's the same. You're threatened,
Wow.
and it's real. Because you don't get it easy. It must be very real, and
Hmm.
you can
Of course.
must have proofs.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And so after 10 years, you went back to your original name?
yeah. That was scary.
Why?
Yeah, yeah. Because you know to get out there and don't know if I'm safe or not. Because it's always like that. If you have something that is like helping you, if just take a person that take uh, some uh, some money every month for their living, and there are lots of restriction. You shouldn't do that. If you get this money, you shouldn't do that. And when you said, okay, I must be strong enough, I don't get their money, and will I survive? It's always
Wow.
like that. When you have a limit and when you get something for it, it's always a big shift. Yeah.
And was your spouse ever apprehended? Was he ever caught? Was he ever judged and trialed?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Not for this. He has been in
Ah,
jail
I
several
see.
times before, and no, my strategy was actually to make my energy zero.
Ah,
So I just meditated and made myself not connectable. I cut my hair. I colored it brown. So when we were in the courts, I was like, I got glasses. I don't wear glasses.
wow.
I shifted my personality and identity that he could relate to. And during the time when I lived, I was just in totally connection with nature, and where I could go and know his way of movement, his time of the days, how he how he
Wow.
thinks. And then I was just making myself a free space where I saw that this is outside his screen.
It's a tough way to live, Anaya.
Yeah, it is. And in the same time, every present moment is a present moment.
Hmm.
So every person lives in the here and now. And in the here and now, when we breathe, there are birds singing, there are, the sun goes up and down. uh, we meet people that we love. I mean, life is not, this is like a circumstance to be in, but in
Hmm.
the same time it's also time to that I always saw a little bit, uh, a glimpse of light. That was a next step.
Hmm.
It's kind of, I don't know, it's to have this surviving time. It's and the budget of nothing, to be able to do things even without money. And it makes made me anyway both humble and creative. So yeah.
Did it fuel your artistic direction?
No, I was fueled uh, when I lived in this really hard circumstance in
Ah.
Stockholm, where I lived with my ex-husband. Uh, it was like the demonic energy could make me express myself very good in art.
Wow.
And when I came out of it, I had, you know, a really big time of when I could only feel real material. I plastic or
Hmm.
anything that was not real made me shaking. You know, so I needed to have really stones, minerals, ceramics, wood, and solid things. So in that way, I was starting welding, doing things that was very grounding, and so to it was another energy that came in for some years.
Hmm.
Mm.
What kind of energy does the moon have?
What do you think for you?
I can tell when it's a full moon and I kind of admire it for a while, but then I forget about it. Or don't,
Mm.
or maybe I don't.
Your body don't.
Hmm.
Mm. But we have different in my way of seeing it. We as we have our energy system are operating very different. Some people have their main energy structure from the upper chakras, and others from their lower chakras, and the people who has their energy center in the in the Merkaba, in the energy field that they have around them, when their electricity or electromagnetic field is connected more to the lower chakras. They have more connection to the moon and to the earth,
Hmm.
and when we are more upper chakras, we have more visionary energy. So and yeah, and female often have more because we have a womb. We have
Hmm.
more connection to the moon cycle than the man has.
And so you always hear that hospitals get, more cases and police are more active and,
Yeah.
these things during the full moon. And I it's amazing to me. What am I missing?
What one can say, how the water goes up and down with the moon, and
The tide. Yeah.
we are like 70% water, but we are more than that because our cells also have water and everything. It's like we are 99% water.
Mm.
And so our subconscious system or unconscious system, I would say, really goes with the moon. But if our mind is if our mind has learned everything from outside and not from inner vision, then our mind it's not actually in our body. It's going around somewhere else.
Hmm.
So then we don't get the connection from on the, and the all the questions and requests from the body. We can't feel it until we are real sick. If our mind is going
Mm.
far away and you know and operate outside our sensory system. Mhm.
And how can one be more in tune with that if they don't feel that they are? How can you connect that way?
Oh, the easiest way, I think, first of all, to move your body,
Mm.
rhythmically, because then it will take balance the system. So body movement, it's really the best. But also to start to breathe vertical. If you breathe so that your breath include, if you breathe and have your consciousness in your heart and let your breath go vertical, the heart starts to embed all the mind and the body, and our vibration gets more and more solid and more electrified,
Hmm.
and within that our mind gets like inside the heart field.
Hmm.
So that is a very powerful breath to do.
Intentional breathing.
Yeah, and it gets it's intentional in the start, but if I breathe like that just naturally because I've
Hmm.
done it so much. Then we are getting like into a meditative state
Mm.
in a normal life. And the meditative state is not that we are, in some foggy state.
Right.
It's more that we are in a more, what can you say, soft space.
Mm.
Yeah, where we are, it's like we have connected the yin yang energy, and the electromagnetic field is more vivid. So we get more information, but it's so still aligned. The information is not like, the brain can only operate one thing at a time, one subject at a time. So it's getting like different informations that makes us very exhausted.
Mm.
But when we are integrated with a heart field, in the heart field, everything comes like a wave. So it comes like a storyline and
Hmm.
metaphysic.
Certainly. Anaya, you managed a refugee camp for a while.
Yeah, 4 years.
For 4 years. What was that like? Sweden is known to take in, great, refugees and known to be such an open country like that. It's wonderful. What was it like managing it?
Uh, First of all, I don't know if we are so open.
No?
We are. Um, it's different. I mean, it's still very hard for the person that I had in my camp to come into the society because we don't have so many, you know, uh, base camps to meet in.
Ah,
We just live in our houses, go to work, and send our kids to school and go home and eat. We are not people who live in big families as they are, and we are more you know more hermits.
really?
Yeah, more, and we are more in the brain. They are more in and we are more into, evolve and do things like that, and they are more into being in the family. And actually, when I come to them, very little happens. They have
Really?
yeah, they are cooking the same food, talking about that. It's really, it's another kind of life. It's amusing to be a family, and that's the most of it. But it was fantastic to run this camp. uh, First of all, people who came there, it's so interesting because it was between 12 and 14 nations and different religions in the same time in one camp.
Wow.
About between 84 person and 135. When they came lots of refugees, we had to make them live even more compact than they did, because there were not enough places. But because it was, I feel that people were most happy when we were tight, when there are even more people, because
Mm.
it's like everyone was in the same situation, even they have different ideas, different opinions about word. It was like a big family. And I think the most important of that was, first of all, that they needed my help. I needed to help them with bank things and, different things that they didn't have any option to do, and to call the doctor, or to do things. And we had food for them and everything. But the most was that there were kids, there were families. And the kids, I love kids, and we were
Mm.
playing. They came to the reception, and we painted, and we did, funny things with nothing. And because and it was, lots of glass around it. So everyone, yeah, the men that came, and they have their family at home, they saw these playing kids, and they saw the future. And I feel that this made it, the kids made the difference. there were so many camps that had, people were afraid of the newcomers. But well, I'm not afraid person, and
Mm.
I really, I really wanted, before they came, to just send so much love into the building so that everything will be, welcoming.
Hmm.
And that's the first way you approach something, it will go that culture. And people were coming and going, but the ones that was there was always helping the newcomers with their bags, and
Wow.
welcoming them in. And because of that, even though we have so many different people, the culture became the same all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
For 40 years, that must have been very eye-opening and humbling.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And very heartfelt, felt, because we didn't have that much language that we could have together.
Right.
So in that way, I had to really listen to every kind of energy that they kind of trying to what they wanted to tell. And because of that, we had such a better meeting than if we could speak perfectly.
Mm.
We really had a heart meeting, because otherwise I would not understand nothing at all, and not them either.
How wonderful. Now, you've written at least 5 books that I could see, all with the preface unfolding, and it's you really
Mm.
shift of consciousness in society. What brought you to write book 1 and to keep writing like this, Anaya? It's very impressive.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm born. Uh, I'm born with a feeling of having a mission,
Mm.
and it. I'm not here for my own sake, and yeah, that's when I wrote my first deep book, this creative existence, unfolding a new conscious world. It took me 3 years, and it was actually.
Wow.
Uh, I started before the camp, but it was during the camp that I finalized it.
Hmm.
And it's like took because at that time I also worked in the university to implement entrepreneurship into being their brand, and what they let people, that dentists could have a education of entrepreneurship to make new investigations and different, uh, inventions. uh, uh, anyway, during that time, um, I, I was so deep into what in the teaching of entrepreneurship, that I came beyond it.
Hmm.
So the first year, it was about the word and the change of the word. And after, I was always dancing, chakra dancing, chakra dancer, like 1 hour before I was writing. And
Wow.
when I came to the heart, there came so much information. I didn't know that I channeled it
Hmm.
at first. But then after 1 year, I came beyond the layer of the academy, and it came to another level. And the third year, after 2 years, it come to even deeper level. So
Wow.
it was educating myself to write it, and it was so magic, because it took me into the word that I felt, but I didn't logically understand before I was writing it and
Mm.
channeling it. Yeah,
So explore that, Anaya. So you don't you feel that you were just channeling it. It wasn't you couldn't stop it. It was just coming right out.
yeah. All
Wow.
my books now, it's always just coming. I have an intention and a desire to do things, and I start, and it's just running in.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there's no stopping it.
No, I
Hmm.
think that is also, the way of artist. One,
Yeah.
one know, an artist always knows when a painting is finished.
Hmm.
Nobody else could see it, but we feel it's like, and it's there, and then we know it's whole and complete.
Wow. Yeah, I end up talking to some artists, some, painters and songwriters, and I always ask, "How do you know when it's done?"
Mm.
And it's always a similar answer. It's like, "Oh, I just know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just know."
yeah,
Yeah. It's not a formula, it's not science, it's just I just know. Yeah, and,
yeah.
I guess with music where there's kind of producers and they wanna add things on, that's another situation, but,
Yeah, I understand totally.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
but the artist says that that's enough.
yeah.
Uh, you have a spiritual academy, Anaya. What do you teach there?
My first tool is divine duality, and it came from investigating yin and yang energy. And I didn't know until I got into the deep energy of yin yang how it was so in a like ecstatic collaboration, ecstatic
Hmm,
dance. As the sun, it's imploding and exploding inside out together. And it's not like a swirling, wheel like that, but it's really ecstatic existence that is all around us. And if we can see it, our cultures have taught us for thousands of years that duality is a split from source.
hmm,
We know it from the Garden of Eden, that we have had teachers that teach us something, and they don't ask us question to make our energy field understand that we already knew. you know and they do, we have priests that pray for God for us, and instead of knowing that we are all God sparks inside. So we have had this made actually all shadow, all ego, or war, and everything that is because it's made two counterparts into having the inverted electromagnetic field. Like, when you have two magnets and you have north and north together, they can't go together. They are
right, they
just
repel. Yeah.
and we did this inversion. So if we get south and north, they can't go other things than really
Mm,
desire to come in the middle. And when you come into the middle in those tools that I teach, because you come in the exact middle of both of them, the male and female energy come together, and all actually come into the movement before if we can slow down the movement as in a qigong energy, it, it's all the story that we solve from the counterparts. It's like rewire our this lifeline that we have chosen, and it's such a refreshment. And here when they come into middle, it's exactly energy that comes every time when man and a woman, a female or male, when black and white come together. When they come together 50-50, God spark comes in.
hmm,
That's why a child comes in and it has 33 percent from the father line, 33 from the mother line, and from 33 percentage comes from source,
hmm,
as an energy from source, and gets spiritual, and everything that exists in nature has the same energy of getting getting the spark in the middle between two counterparts. uh, and you can just imagine if you have in your left hand have the mother energy, the blackness, the energy of pure potential, the nothing and everything, the void, everything is the blackness. It's not, it's not like searching the black. It's like it's an evil thing. It's a thing that hold our all system together. It's the stars, planets, our body, everything is held by this energy. And if you have this energy of light that is consciousness, that is a male energy that wants to penetrate the potential. We understand the energy of yin yang so well, because then it's, it's such a desire to come into fruition with the ideas that we have. If we have, and there the female and male come into this like a sexual act. It's a ecstasy. And if we just do the same with, in one hand have something that we judge ourselves for, and in the other hand take forgiveness, and we go with them slow, 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 slow. It's like dissolving all the history of the inverted duality. So it's such a powerful and simple tool, but we need to be connected, as I, with a vertical breath, or any way that our heart field is totally embedding us to have to be able to do it. Because when it's not interconnected, our different intelligences, the mind is going so fast, so it still doesn't catch the energy in the moment. So it's some educating uh, time to come to that possible chance to start to understand the liminal space between everything. It's like, I always have different works in the same time. And when I worked with entrepreneurship in the university and played tennis, I wasn't a coach any longer then, but I played myself. I always, when I was in the court, I understand so much more of entrepreneurship. They have so many similarities. And when
Hmm.
I came to teach um, entrepreneurship, I could do it through, and to tell something about tennis, and then they understood it perfectly, because it's the liminal space between two different things makes the energy of life. And there, every one of us, we have different worldview, but in the space between things, it's this wave of one story that everyone can make their own story from in the middle.
Hmm.
And there we can meet. Everything can meet in the middle, because there doesn't matter that we have different worldviews.
Are we all connected, Inaya? All humankind?
Yeah, if we don't disconnect ourselves, we have a free will.
Hmm.
But
And how does?
our system is, we can't choose that.
Hmm.
Mm.
Your one point about 33% mother, 30% father, and then 33% you say from the ground, from the earth, from the
No, no, no,
spirit,
from spirit.
from spirit.
Yeah,
Yes, explain
it's source energy. We
source
are,
energy.
when we die, everything goes back to source. But we have a memory system and akashic record around the globe. But everything comes and goes from source,
Hmm.
from what we call Big Bang, from God, whatever. Yeah,
It's I love your light. Your light and your energy is so welcoming, Anaya. So, when
thank you.
I started my business well, I started in 93, right at the beginning of when you had to go into hiding there. I was working I was working too much, long days, wasn't paying attention to myself. I was eating poorly and, working too hard. And before you know it, I got myself up to 360 pounds. I'd gained a
Wow.
lot of weight. Yeah. And the doctor said to me, if you don't lose this weight, you're never going to see your daughter graduate. My daughter was just born.
Mm.
You're never going to see her graduate school. So I took the next 6 or 7 months. I lost about 130 pounds and I kept it off. And people struggle with weight loss. It's a very tough thing for some people. But people ask me how I did it. What's the secret? And I always say discipline.
Yeah.
Right. So that's it. There's no secret. I just got disciplined. It's something I needed to do. So I use discipline. How does discipline play a role in your life, Inaya Oakroot?
Yeah. I think discipline comes after desire.
Hmm.
Uh, as I guess for you also, when you had the desire to see your daughter graduate.
Hmm.
So you had something that was more important for you than to go on with a life that your body was asking for because it was craving it, isn't it? So for me, um,
Hmm.
magic is my biggest nourishment. Even when I was living in hidden address, magic is my big energy source of energy. And when I get like like there is something, nothing can stop me. So maybe I'm disciplined, but I can't do anything that go there.
Ah. So you have the desire to get it, but you don't have the drive to get there? You don't have the motivation?
Yeah, I just know that it's like I know that I'm there already. So
Right.
I can't go another way because I'm already there.
Huh.
Yeah.
And now you've mentioned magic before. I've heard you talk about that. Define that,
Apart
please.
how I can define it. Mm,
Yes.
well, I think when when we are born, as I am born, being metaphysical in my understanding of everything, and that doesn't understand anything before I get it. We get the whole picture. Everything is magic. I mean, the blade of grass is magic.
Mm,
To sit here with you is magic.
mm,
It's so I think it's a point of enter the field of energy. That is a big wonder, isn't it? It's a big wonder
mm,
that we are. Everything is a big wonder, but we take things for granted, and then we lose the wonder of existence. We don't need so much, but we need our wonder about existence.
mm.
That's what I find anyway.
How much of your beliefs and your motivations are art versus science? When you approach writing your book or your academy or your teachings, do you feel it's more artistic or more scientific? Or maybe both?
I see myself as a combiner.
Mm,
I see myself as a bridger between the old paradigm and the new, and that I want to make a logic understandable, and for people to understand it by experiencing it. And I don't care about what others saying. If there is some studies that say that, we have always science that says something else.
mm,
So the main anchor for me is to go from my inner wisdom and inner voice, and then I it's like navigating me to the science that talk that same truth that my inner voice is telling.
your inner voice.
Yeah.
Is that part of the magic?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Of course. Hmm.
What motivates you, Anaya?
My mission and my wonder, love, uh, well, breathe, to breathe.
Mm,
Every morning I don't wake up by a clock. I I put myself quite early into bed so that I can have lots of time before anyone wants my presence.
mm,
And then when I wake up, it's like, you know, just being there maybe 1 hour halfway in the dream state, and just amusing, starting to look up to see if there is some light, darkness and light, or a different breath, a different coldness and warm, and everything, and just being there in the existence of of presence. It's such a wonderful start of the day.
mm.
to not, feel like, I stretch a little bit there, and oh, my body wants that, and then it feels, now I want to go up, and then I'm so inspired. It's like waking the system up. And then I never have had, a work that I don't like, so I always have inspiring things in front of me, but I don't think of them when I get awake. Then I'm just there. Mm,
You're really in the moment. You mentioned your mission a couple of times.
yeah,
Feeling at ease? Is that part of your mission?
feeling at ease. No, feeling the wonder of existence uh, is really my biggest mission. That
Hmm.
people can start to feel the wonder of being themselves,
Hmm.
and within that, people will start to listen inward and not be afraid of getting casting out or anything when they are listening inward, that they don't have to fit in. They will fit in, but they maybe will fit in new surroundings than they
Hmm.
have, but they will be more happy there.
How do you measure success, Anaya?
Hmm. I think success is when we laugh.
Hmm.
When we love, success is every time. It's not an end result. I don't believe in end results. End results is death. you know it's then it's nothing. Then it's like when we buy something new, and it hasn't got a soul. We don't admire it, we don't love it, and it has no value if we have a result of being a king, or a result of that would be that's a very hard life to be a king. For
Hmm.
instance. But I think success is really to, yeah, to be in the moment, to be in the moment and experience the wonder of being yourself. That is success for me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And it's easily measured because you know when that's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, really. Yeah, really. And everyone is granted it.
Hmm. And I have such a pleasure. I was so excited when we set this up. You're very unique, and you've got such a light and such a shine to you.
Mm.
It's contagious, and it's wonderful. Thank you so much. If anybody's
Thank you
listening,
so
how
much.
can they get in touch with you?
Oh, they can. They have a free discovery session if they come to my webpage, Inaya. Oh, that is not Inaya, it's my email address, oakrootspiritualacademy.com. And everyone is very welcome. And when we meet, we have 1 hour. I can teach their unique, listen to them, and make helping them using their own voice in a way that they can heal themselves. And
Mm.
also I will scan maybe a little bit with my sound to see different parts that they could observe a little better, and divine duality, of course, and just see who they are, what they want in life, and what I can help them with. Yeah.
Oakroot Spiritual Academy.com. We'll make sure we put it in the show notes. And I thank you
Thanks.
so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I hope one day when I'm there in Sweden, we get to meet and have a cup of tea.
Oh, yes, you are so welcome, Joey. Thank you so much. I have a super beautiful studio to welcome you in, and a small house that you can live in.
How wonderful. Thank you so much, Anaya. You be well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening and/or viewing Joey Pinz Disciple Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypins.com. There you'll find lots of resources, and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Would you like to financially support the podcast? You can go to our Patreon site. Consider $5, $10, or $20 a month. There's all kind of plans that we have there. There's like a one-time payment. What is this podcast episode worth to you? $25, $50, $100, $500, $1,000, $5,000. You be the judge. You can go to our PayPal account to do that as well. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Disciple Conversations.